Hello, everybody. My name is Benedict Quinn, and I'm a jazz guitarist and producer from Devon. And I'm currently studying in London, doing jazz guitar at the Royal Academy of Music. Thought I'd tell you a little bit about myself before we get into discussing the picks and their ergonomic features and how they've benefited me. I grew up in Devon, and it's a lovely, lovely place, but there's not really many musicians like my age to hang out with. So I think that's kind of why I learnt a fair few instruments to kind of form a band by myself in my room, I guess. And that kind of lent itself to producing and everything, because you don't have like 8 arms. You got to multi-track that shebang, man. Anyway, after recording a load of terrible covers like Get Lucky and a few other hit songs back in 2012, I started getting more into beat making and like old school MPC, like pad stuff. When I got like the Machine MK1, I think. A lot of musicians transcribe solos or chords to learn how to play like their favorite guitarists or whatever. But at that time, I think I was like 14. I started recreating my favorite rap instrumentals and hip hop, and that really taught me a lot about groove and writing, harmony, and production, all that sound stuff. I think I was 15 when I heard "To Pimp a Butterfly" by Kendrick Lamar, and that album definitely changed a lot of people's lives. But yeah, it was just a gateway for me into jazz. Like, it was from then that I really started taking it seriously and getting really into it. And I started getting lessons with Mike Outram in London. I'd travel about 5 hours each way on the coach. This was every few weeks on a Monday, so I had to miss a bit of school, but it was way more fun and beneficial for me. So I think I should show you some of the stuff. And all this stuff that Mike showed me is super useful for warming up and making sure that you don't injure yourself when playing or anything. Anyway, the most important thing of my lessons is I realised how little I knew about scales and the fretboard and everything. I just thought about sounds and what sounded good or not. But there, what I just played was me playing something I couldn't play without knowing what an E major scale, like how to play an E major scale all over the fretboard, or a B major scale, or an F sharp major scale. Like all that was all laid on top of E, like for brighter like stuff, because you can go up fifths to like brighten the sound. You've probably heard the super ultra hyper mega metallidian thing by Jacob Collier, but that's basically what it is. It's one of the things that Mike taught me, which was to play all of the major scales in the first 5 frets, up to the highest note and to the lowest note. So start with F, A, 3rd, and then down F sharp, start on G sharp, highest note. Lowest note is F, or the 7th. Just do all of them. You can just go to B flat if you want. Should be the lowest note would be the 5th, F, B flat. Highest note is the 7th, A, and just work your way around them. Then you can move all about the fretboard you'll know like all the places, I guess. Or you can try and learn a few positions like this. You can play A like this. Those are all positions that I know solidly, and they're really, really handy, knowing all that stuff. Anyway, most importantly, you should just learn your favourite guitar solos or guitar videos on Instagram or songs or any of that stuff. Just transcribe that, because that's the most important thing. But learning the fretboard will just help everything, make it all so much easier. So yeah. Anyway, I thought I should tell you about an invisible injury I had 2 years ago. It's called repetitive strain injury, and I got it April 2019. And this went on until the summer of 2020. It was my first year of music school back in 2018, 2019. And I was just doing an incredible amount of practice to try and catch up with all my peers. You know, it's just that time of your life where you're just practicing like hell. And no one ever tells you about the risks of it, or that RSI is even a thing to think about. But I was just doing what all my friends did. And so firstly, I irritated them pretty badly by doing just a lot of practice. And then I had these 6-hour rehearsals for a musical, and I was already in a commitment of 6 hours a day rehearsing, and I had like a week of gigs, and by the end of that week I was just in pain every day for months and months. And I just wish I never put myself in that situation, and I knew what I was doing would last this long, because I wouldn't have put myself through that if I had known. So there's just so much that you question when you're going through something like that, like if you'll ever be able to play music again. And throughout that whole time, I couldn't open a door, I couldn't lift up bags of shopping, or I couldn't even chop an onion, even though that sounds funny to some people. But the worst bit of it all was not being able to play music, not being able to play guitar, bass, piano, drums, couldn't produce, couldn't use my laptop, couldn't DJ, couldn't do any of that stuff. And that was just, that was the worst time of my life. But there were a lot of things that I did to try and get around it. I got this cool eye tracker thing. Look at this. So I can control my mouse with my eyes. It's really weird telling people that, or people even hearing that is weird for them. So I managed to kind of produce a bit with that without using my arms. But yeah, I was just trying to do the most that I could, and that was exercising, eating healthy food, meditating, reducing tension in my body with Alexander technique, and these picks with my finger, they were just reducing the tension in my right hand. And I was just trying to, like I said, I was trying to do the most that I could, and this definitely aided my recovery. I thought I'd also talk a little bit about how anatomy of sound played a vital part in my recovery from RSI. They contacted me, I think, in late 2019, when I kind of got to the recovery stage of it, where I should be getting back on the guitar from resting and slowly building up all the minutes from 1 minute a day to 5 lots of 1 minute a day, and then 5 lots of 5 minutes a day, just like gradually building up those numbers. So they sent me a prototype of this jazz pick that they made, and I took it to my doctor, who's doing physiotherapy on me, and showed them the design of it and everything, and they agreed that it would definitely reduce tension whilst playing. The reason for it reducing tension, they said, was because of the thickness of the pick and the texture, which just meant that you don't have to think about it. It's just effortless having to hold this in your hand whilst playing. Unlike all the other picks that I used to use before, where you just had to like clench onto it and make sure you don't lose it down by your feet. And this is just another problem that I don't have to think about when you're playing live on stage. By reducing tension in your fingers and your forearm muscles, it allows you to play a lot longer because your arms don't need to do as much work for each strum, each pick, and all of that stuff. It's just so comfortable, you kind of just forget it's there. And it's just so reliable for all genres of music or whatever style you're playing, like if you're playing fast licks or if you're doing some strumming stuff. Like, I've never once had any troubles with any licks or anything because this has just served me so well. After several months of using these picks and recovering, I finally made a full recovery by summer 2020, and I'm just so excited to get playing again live, and I'm sure all of you guys are too. Well, this may not seem very useful to people who don't have RSI, but trust me, pay attention, because these are things that you can do to prevent RSI. Firstly, do some stretches, and I'm going to show you some stretches that you should do every morning and every night. Alright, so for 30 seconds, let me time it. You put your arm like this, and you put it back until you feel a bit of a stretch. So like this. Yeah, and then what you should do is do another kind of stretch on your arm. So you get it in like a fist, your thumb around there, and pull this slightly that way, kind of 90-degree angle, and until you feel a stretch. But try not to do it too much, or else you'll damage your muscles. Yeah, just pull it like that for 30 seconds. Right, now do that on both your left and right arms. Secondly, you should break up your practice with 10-minute breaks every 50 minutes, and go on a 10-minute little stroll, oxygenate your muscles and all that stuff. Or even just break up your practice throughout the day. You don't need to do a whole session, 4-hour session, all in one go. That won't give your arms any time to rest. So, yeah, something to think about. I've got a little timer where I just dial in the minutes. Let me show you. Yeah, I've got 45 minutes there. I guess beeps. You can also do that with production and all that stuff. You gotta give your ears a rest, give your mind a rest. It's just good for everything. Hey. But here's a little practice routine for those with RSI, or just like something to warm up for everyone. Here's a cool rhythmic thing. I used to do it all the time because I could only play really, really slowly. I couldn't play fast things with my arm problem. So this is a rhythmic thing that you could do, which is put your metronome to 20 BPM. Let's hear that. Try and like figure out the rhythms between. Try and play. If this is 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's every minimum. I mean every 2 bars. Play a quaver behind the bar and a quaver in front. Like start with a quaver behind. No, start with a quaver in front. Let's do that. So you can kind of feel the beat now because you can hear it first. Then on. Let's try behind. In a sec. That will just really help you improve your internal rhythm. Like instead of guessing where it is, you really have to divide that long beat into like tiny little semiquavers in between. Anyway, I'm going to finish off with the live looping performance of mine. Just my own song on Ableton that I kind of made so I could play all the elements. But yeah, notice I'm using this little pick on the bass as well as the guitar because it's just so chunky that you just can get a really good tone out of it on the bass as well. if you want to see some videos of my beats, productions, like neo soul, lo-fi kind of vibes, head to my Instagram at Benedict Quinn. You can DM me, ask me any questions if you like. I do some lessons more in depth than that. It's quite hard doing like a broad thing, but hope it helps some of you guys out.